This is JR, the producer of Plain English. Thank you for being with us for 300 lessons. Look for a special audio message from me and your fellow Plain English listeners tomorrow.
Well, thank you, JR, and thanks to all of you for joining us for Plain English lesson number 300. As always, this full lesson can be found at plainenglish.com/300. Coming up today, live music venues and the bands who play in them are in trouble. Will they close? And what will be the effect on the music industry? The expression we'll review today is weather the storm, and we have a quote of the week. Many businesses are adapting to the age of social distancing. Restaurants are increasing delivery options, and small shops are selling online. But what happens if your whole business is based on social density, not social distance? That's the position that live music venues are in today, and they have few options. When I say live music venue, don't think of massive stadiums. Instead, think of places you might go to see a local or regional band or the occasional national act. Think of places in city neighborhoods that can hold a few hundred or 1,000 people. In this crisis, they were the first to close and will be the last to reopen. The whole experience of enjoying a concert in these places is based on packing a lot of people into a room to enjoy the band up close and in person. The band feeds off the energy of the crowd. It's not the same experience if there are only a smattering of tables, everyone 6 feet apart, and seated quietly at a table. And a venue certainly can't make money that way. A recent survey found that 90% of independent music venues would close permanently in the next few months if the restrictions on live music aren't lifted or if there is no government rescue package. Live music associations in the US and Europe have both petitioned for a share of their respective government recovery packages, but without luck so far. It is sad when a business closes, but it's a necessary, if difficult, part of the creative destruction that happens in times of economic change. The tragedy, though, would be a place that closes for a temporary reason but is unable to ever come back. And that might be the case with many music venues, and that's because they are so big. Think about it. Live music might not be feasible for another couple of years, but after that, we will still want and be able to see concerts again. But by then, it might be too late for many of the concert halls and music venues that we currently know and love. Here's why. If a concert venue closes today, the landlord, the building owner, will need to make some money from that space. This is just an economic reality. That building owner will probably divide the space and try to fill it with smaller tenants, shops, restaurants, apartments, whatever. Now that's fine for now, But let's imagine that live music becomes viable again in 2 or 3 years. They can't just go back to where they were because all those big spaces will have been broken up into smaller spaces. And there aren't a lot of other big spaces for them to move into, especially in popular neighborhoods with high rents. It's easy to break up a large space. It's much harder to go the other way and assemble a large space out of many smaller units. For that reason, if music venues in dense urban neighborhoods close due to the pandemic, they might not have the opportunity to return to those neighborhoods when the crisis passes. That doesn't mean there will be no potential for live music. It just means that concert halls will have to go elsewhere. That's a tragedy for popular city neighborhoods, but it could open up opportunities for less popular neighborhoods in big cities. Live music venues often lead the push for gentrification. They set up where rent is cheap and space is plentiful. Apartments and shops fill in later as a neighborhood improves. That, again, is part of the ebb and flow of vibrant cities. However, it would be sad if it means we lose our favorite older locations with so many memories. Another worry is that large companies will come in and buy or lease all the concert venues. A big company might have a lot of cash available. A big company can weather the storm much better than an independent venue owner can. That might sound good, but independent owners play a crucial role in discovering and promoting new bands and nurturing the talent in a city or a region. It's a function that big companies or chains will not be able to replicate if they gobble up all the spaces. It will take a while. Live music is not open in the US. The UK recently allowed some venues to open, but with everyone at a 1 or 2 meter distance from one another. In Newcastle, in the northeast of England, 2,500 fans went to a concert, all in groups of 5 or fewer, sitting on raised platforms that separated them from other groups. Switzerland has said that events with 1,000 people can resume, but only after protections have been developed. The only problem is the Swiss government hasn't specified what those protections might be. Germany's large event ban has been extended to the end of this year. France has allowed large events to start up again, but only in areas not heavily affected by the virus. Most observers think live music won't be the same until well into 2021 or longer. Venue owners and bands alike are trying to hang on until then. This would be really sad if these great places closed. I'm thinking of all the independent concert halls I like. Shuba's and Green Mill in Chicago, City Winery in New York, all those places on Broadway in Nashville or Bourbon Street in New Orleans. It would just be such a tragedy if they closed or were taken over by big companies or converted into apartments or whatever. I think this would be a good topic for our live calls with Plain English Plus members. Our next one is coming up tomorrow, so let's make this the topic for our live call on October 17th, Saturday morning here in the US, Saturday afternoon in Europe, evening in Asia. If you're a Plain English Plus member, come join us for that call. The details are on your dashboard. We'll talk about your favorite live music, theater, or comedy venues. Today's expression is to weather the storm. This means to survive a difficult time without suffering too much damage, and it often means just to survive. We use this when a person or a company is in danger. In times of danger, you focus only on surviving. All your effort goes into surviving until the danger passes. You know you'll be hurt by the experience. You just hope that you're not hurt too badly by it. Live music has been put almost completely on hold in most parts of the world. The owners of concert venues are not making any money right now. Many are at risk of closing. Therefore, we say that the owners of live music venues are trying to weather the storm. They are trying to survive this difficult time. What are they doing to survive, to weather the storm? Some may be negotiating with their landlords or their banks to get a break on their rent or their loan payments. Some may be trying to adapt and sell a little bit of food. Maybe they are hosting online concerts and asking for donations. Many are lobbying the government for help and applying for grants and loans. They probably cut most of their staff a long time ago, so in many cases, it's just the owner and one or two other people. These are not the activities of a thriving, growing business or even a healthy business. These are the activities of a business fighting for its survival. They are just trying to survive until the end of the pandemic, until they can start selling tickets, selling drinks, hosting concerts again. And that is the essence of weather the storm. You hope you can survive until the storm passes because you can't be in this situation forever. In today's lesson, I said that a big company that operates music venues is better able to weather the storm than a small independent venue. Why is a big company able to weather the storm better than a smaller one? A big company might have more cash available. A big company might make money in multiple different ways, so that bigger company wouldn't be as badly affected if just one part of its business is forced to close. A bigger company might have more leverage to negotiate with suppliers and landlords. A bigger company might have the ability to invest and capitalize on new trends, and so on. And indeed, you are seeing this throughout the economy. Big companies with the means to adapt and weather the storm are doing well. Small companies without the safety net are not doing as well. Many individuals are just trying to weather the storm too. If you lose your job, you probably need to reduce your spending, rely on your savings, maybe rely on help from friends and family, and start looking for a new job. In a situation like that, you are just trying to weather the storm. You need to get through this until you get a new job again. It often refers to an economic situation, but not always. Let's imagine you are caring for a sick relative. It takes a lot of your time and emotional energy. You want to do it for that relative, but it also comes at a personal cost to you. During that time, you're not able to concentrate on yourself, on your own family, your own relationships, your happiness, your future, your job. You're just trying to weather the storm, to do the minimum to hold on until the crisis passes. It doesn't mean you quit your job or leave your family, but it means you are not dedicating the time and energy you need to other parts of your life while you deal with the emergency, in this case, caring for a sick relative. Hopefully, the relative recovers and you can then rebalance things, but until then, you're just trying to weather the storm. You can imagine the other types of situations that might require you to just weather the storm, just survive a difficult time. You or your business might be subject to a lawsuit. You might have to defend yourself from that lawsuit, and all your energy and some money goes into hiring a lawyer to defend yourself. If you own a business and lose an important customer, you will have to weather the storm until you can replace that customer. If you're working in the emergency room at a hospital and all of a sudden the ER gets very busy, the ER staff needs to weather the storm. They know they're not going to be able to dedicate all the time they want with each new patient, but they need to just weather the storm, deal with the most urgent cases first, and work through the caseload until things calm down. Try to get through the tough time without too much damage. Today's quote of the week is related to our main topic. It's by the owner of an independent music venue in Michigan. He's worried that big companies like Live Nation or others will look to buy up all the struggling independent venues for a low price, taking advantage of the bad economic times. Before I read you the quote, I want to give you the definition of one word. Homogenization means everything becomes the same. Homogenization. So, here's the quote. You can't serve artists and fans if money is the main driver. It doesn't work. I would hate to see the homogenization of live music. And that quote is by Scott Hammontree, the owner of a live music venue in Michigan. What he's saying is that he doesn't want big companies to buy up all the small independent music venues. He's worried that if that happens, the big companies will just operate the venues with the sole objective of making money rather than on serving the local community. Venues like this are often a way local bands can be discovered, can get exposure that they need to become popular. So the venues perform a service by identifying the local bands that have talent and that fans would want to see. If those concert halls are instead just owned by large companies, this owner thinks those concert halls would be like factories pumping out homogeneous, boring music. So once more, here's what he said. You can't serve artists and fans if money is the main driver. It doesn't work. I would hate to see the homogenization of live music. That's it for number 300. We do 2 lessons a week, so each time we hit another 100, it means we're just about another year into this project. So we're heading into our 4th year here at Plain English. Can you believe that? We started back in December 2017. We had no idea how long we'd be doing this, but it has been so much fun, and we're looking forward to our next 300 lessons. JR mentioned at the beginning that he'll be publishing an extra audio for you all. He'll count down his 5 favorite lessons of all time, and he'll include an extra message from some Plain English listeners as well. You can find that in your podcast feed in Spotify or on your podcast app.